Okay, guys, so I keep getting asked how many push-ups and pull-ups I'm able to do at this point, and the answer to that is honestly quite embarrassing from someone who has a goal to be able to compete on American Ninja Warrior. Okay, so I figured I would walk you through where I've been making my progress and how I've been tracking it, and then share my plan with you, not only to curb your curiosity, but equally as much to just have a plan set out for myself. First, I want to welcome you back to Chin Up Mindset. This is a channel where we have one mission, and that is to encourage growth. We're going to be doing that together by changing, helping, inspiring, and nurturing our minds by striving for goals and then just chatting about inspirational topics that come up. So at the moment, I am working on probably the most boring yet imperative part of this whole challenge, and that is to create a sustainable diet and exercise routine for myself. But before I get into the routine that I'm currently in, I want to mention the tools that I'm using to track my progress and keep myself accountable. And if any of you happen to be using the same apps, find me and we'll join up. First, and probably the most important app that I have is the Fitbit app. Not only the app, obviously, but the tool as well. But this app I use to track all of my activity. So I got into the habit of closing my exercise ring when I had an iWatch. I actually completely forgot about this, but I lost my streak maybe 2 months before I hit my year, which is such a bummer. But I was traveling around Indonesia and didn't want to be like a slave to the machine on my wrist, so I ditched it. Turns out that little bugger really helped me because I think I gained about 15 pounds throughout the remainder of that trip. But once I got settled back in and everything, got into a little bit of a routine, I purchased a Fitbit that was on January 1st, and I haven't taken it off since. I think that for me personally, it's crucial to have some sort of visual on what I am trying to accomplish. Honestly, it's kind of made it so that I haven't had to force any progress in a way. I started off working to meet 1 or 2 goals for the day and am now at a point where I aim to hit all of my goals 6 out of 7 days of the week. And I'll clarify on why I excluded that one day here in a little bit. A tip that I just came across, which I think is worth sharing, is that it is important that you switch which wrist you're wearing your watch on. Something that I would have never thought about, but I have a personal trainer friend of mine who has pointed out multiple times while we were doing push-ups that my left side is a lot stronger than my right side, which is weird because I'm right-handed, so you would think that my more dominant arm would be stronger, but I realized yesterday when I was carrying a box that I carry things in my left arm because I got my swing arm, you know? I had my watch on my right hand and trying to get those extra movement points or whatever. Now I need to build strength in my right arm because it is visibly weaker than my left arm, and that's something that could have been eliminated. But anyway, moving on. The next app is MyFitnessPal. This app has completely changed the way I look at my plate of food. This is a calorie tracker app that I started using a few years back. At this point, I use this app almost religiously to plan out my meals for the next day, and it just helps keep me in line when I feel like going off the rails with my intake, which definitely happens more than I would like to admit. But the coolest part of this app is that it syncs up with the Fitbit and it adjusts your calories as you work out. So it kind of has a weird way of turning your caloric input output into a game, and it's the easiest way to keep me engaged in pretty much anything. So the final app that we have is Life. It is a fasting app, and it is truly incredible what it has done for me. Not the app in particular, just the whole process of fasting. I know that intermittent fasting is something that a lot of people are already aware of, if not taking part in. But if you aren't familiar with the concept, it's where you have a specific window of time that you eat. Okay, the most typical one is a 16-8, which gives you 16 hours of fasting and 8 of eating. I try to stick between 18 to 20 hours of fasting a day, with Sunday being the exception. I try to make that a full day fast. So I'll go between 32 and 40 hours once a week, and then the rest of the week between 16 and 20 hours. My diet and weight is something that I've struggled with for a good portion of my life, as I'm sure a lot of people can relate. And going extended periods of time without eating has given me the opportunity to take a step back and analyze my thought patterns around food from a different perspective. I still have a really hard time, which is frustrating because I'm aware and can see these certain reoccurring patterns, but I'm still having a hard time just completely ridding myself of them. But what can you do? We're all continuously working on something, right? So I did almost forget that I also use a Google Sheet for a personal measurement tracker that I share with one other person, but they seem to have just completely given up on recording any data for themselves. So I'm probably just gonna count that as a win for me. Anyway, so I'm about 3 months into this ninja goal, and to date I've lost a little over 11 pounds. I am noticeably more flexible while I'm doing yoga. And the most exciting part is that I am able to see toning and definition in areas of my body that I've never seen toned, which is really, really cool. So what's my routine look like? Well, I'll start off with the easy one. Sunday, I don't really do much of anything. I don't eat. I don't work out. I just do my thing. And I've actually realized that from a productivity standpoint, fasting is great for me because when I'm trying to avoid things, such as being productive, doing these videos, writing content, whatever, I tend to eat. The only time I want to cook a 3-course meal is when I have something that I need to do. So it actually eliminates that temptation for me, which is super helpful. So then Monday through Thursday are work days for me. So I will prep my food the night before, and that's where my FitnessPal comes in. It allots me 1,240 calories. So I usually pack between 1,500 to 1,800. And that is because that allotment increases after working out. I have been trying to be more aware of not continuously syncing my Fitbit because when I have leftover calories, I try to justify eating more, even when I'm not necessarily hungry. So I have been working toward just doing one sync at night so I can experience having those extra calories left over, which is fun to see. So on these days, I wake up between 4 and 4:30 to get to the gym by 5 a.m. That way I can run for 30 minutes, and then after I run, I will do a round or two of HIIT training with ThenX. I will link that in the description in case you want to give it a go. This is something that I just introduced over the past week or so, but have really been feeling and seeing the results, which is awesome. After the gym, depending on whether I'm feeling productive or not, I will do some yoga. If I decide to do writing and research instead, then yoga waits until later on before bedtime, which some might refer to this type of schedule as a granny schedule, but I am ideally asleep by 8:30 p.m. This is a little bit more embarrassing, but Friday and Saturday, I don't have work, so you would think my schedule would change. It doesn't. I may wake up like an hour later or so, but for the most part, the only thing that changes on the weekend is that I do yoga in the morning instead of wait until night. So I might end up doubling up on yoga on those days, which is kind of like me getting wild. So if you have invited me out on the weekend and I've declined, don't take it personally. I am riding this personal growth train. Not super proud of that, so let's move on. I have absolutely made huge improvements on myself since setting this ninja goal. Some anticipated, some not. And the best part about this progress is that it all kind of happened naturally. I mean, granted, I am the one showing up to make sure that it happens, but I started by simply setting a 30-day yoga challenge goal and seeing it through. Now I'm about 103 days in without missing a day of yoga, which probably has something to do with the fact that I'm able to appreciate my strength in a different way while being focused on moving slowly, and it's just an overall great feeling. So the best example I can give to summarize why I'm coming at this from such a tortoise pace would have to be comparing my method to my brother's method, okay? When we first met up after talking about going at this ninja challenge, his plan of attack was 100 squats and 100 push-ups every day. And although that would undoubtedly expedite getting into shape, I personally found it very discouraging because I couldn't even do 10 push-ups at one time. So needless to say, that didn't last all too long. I think there were maybe 2 days where I actually did all of the squats and push-ups, and it was maybe about a week before we stopped even checking in on each other's progress on it. There's obviously nothing wrong with that approach by any means. I think that maybe we had just interpreted the goal a little bit differently, where he took it as more of just a physical challenge. I came at it from more of a rebuilding my foundation type outlook. So until May, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and slowly adding in different exercises, upping the intensity of exercises that I'm currently doing, and then making more time for push-ups and squats throughout the day, because I do feel that I would be more ready to take that on now opposed to when we first started. So there you go, Frank. You better match me. Once May hits, I should be at my faux goal weight, the attainable one that you set to empower you to keep striving for your real goal. Or who knows, maybe I will actually be creeping toward my real goal by that point, if I can get over my one true love, which is sugar. Regardless of my relationship with that sweet stuff, I will be joining either a ninja gym or strength training gym in order to start building the muscle that I need to compete, and in order to get myself to a braggable number of pull-ups and push-ups. So just watch out because it's coming. But I could easily break down at least 7 to maybe 15 different topics that I've mentioned in this video alone. So keep an eye out for future content relating to health topics or the Ninja Challenge in particular. And if there was anything that I had mentioned in this video that struck a chord and you would like to hear me elaborate on a little bit more, let me know in the comments and I can focus a video specifically on that. If you've been feeling like you're ready to start improving on your physical fitness and aren't really sure where to start, check out the link to Yoga with Adriene 30-day yoga challenge that I've put in the description. I am well aware that we are all in different places on our journey, but yoga is like medicine for the body and mind. It's satisfying in so many different ways, and in my opinion, it's the ideal stepping stone to better understand yourself and what you may need in order to move forward on your path. I want to thank you all again from the bottom of my heart for spending your time with me. I know you have so many different options of what to do with your time, and the fact that this is what you're deciding to do with it warms me up inside. If you have liked this video, please show me with a little thumbs up action. And again, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any future content. And then until next time, keep nourishing that mind.